Many of you are very talented, but if you really want to wow me today, you're going to have to show something extra. Little thing I've coined heart.
I think his mom drank when she was pregnant or something.
Attaboy, JD. Hustle, hustle.
I believe in you, JD. Don't listen to those motherfuckers.
I know your heart's on the football field, but I need your head in history class, Mr. Vance.
Yes, Vance, yes.
That stupid freak will never make the team. He's a loser.
Fuck you, Gavin. You and your dad are both gay.
Damn it, Vance, I wish I had 100 of you. If only you could get those godforsaken test scores up.
If you ask a hot chick to prom, I'll give you a C because history smiles upon the bold.
Asking me for my permission to ask my daughter to prom is a really classy move.
Vance past history. Now let's go beat the shit out of the Soros High Goblins.
Yo, it's JPI Vance. Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big chair. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberate. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, executive sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Tuesday. Big Tuesday night's main event happening tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we got some CobraCast to talk about right now. The swanky Nintendo jacket. That's right, Nintendo shill. See, I think that the pro-Israel memes have been kind of, drowning out the fact that I am truly a Nintendo shill, okay? I'm also a Netflix shill. I am also a Nolan shill. And I'm just like, people are starting to buy into the Israel memes a little too much. And I'm going to have to remind them what's really going on around here, okay? Liam Neeson's chin says, I was playing Baseball Stars and Jackal last night. I don't think you understand how much I appreciate that compliment. or that comment, I'm sorry. And Dan Vask will be happy to hear that too, because those are two retro games. Those are two retro games, Dan Vask, being mentioned in the Snake Pit. Man, I miss the good old days of retro games. I really do. Jackal is top tier. So is Baseball Stars. Baseball Stars might still be the best baseball game ever made. It might be. The only bad thing about Baseball Stars is it didn't have the MLBA or the Major League Baseball Players Association. That's it. Mar Millen says pre-stream chat grift tax. Excuse me, sir. Do you work here? Here we go with that shit. Nandy 450 getting us started. Says libtards. Iran rejects the U.S. negotiations. Let's see. Iran rejects that U.S. negotiations are going on. Trump knows he's losing, so he's backing down. Common sense, people. Why the F would a terrorist regime acknowledge talks as it's a sign of weakness on their part and will allow dissent to go on? Stuff like this, it does kind of help highlight the insanity of the world we're in with the internet. Everyone has a voice. And why, and of course, why I certainly support that. I think everyone should have a voice. There's a lot of stupid people out there, man. There's a lot of stupid people that will believe anything. They have no critical thinking whatsoever. They are just mindless zombies. So when Iran responds to President Trump talking about that there's negotiations going on, and Iran simply says, we haven't talked to Trump at all. There's no negotiations going on. These idiots believe Iran. What are you talking about? You just believe Iran? You just believe their propaganda and lies? Holy shit, man. Have you learned nothing by how they operate? They are constantly pushing propaganda to their very own people. They're constantly, and a lot of it, as we have seen, is meant to save face. But these people are so lost in their Trump hatred that they just are like, yeah, we believe the Iranian state media. What? Okay, go for it, I guess. It's just insane, man. People are crazy. But that's the world we're in. The internet is a wonderful place full of retarded people. Packy Proton says, excuse me, sir, but does your stream price match? Comics Dad says, do you have any competent hosts in the back, like a J or RK Outpost? I only saw Israeli Jeremy models and Beardo dyslexic types. Why do I shop here? You should just watch Timcast. They've got really good people over there that aren't retarded. At least that's what they'll tell you anyway. Oops, Jay did it again for $1. George Ramirez says, excuse me, sir. You're wearing the red MAGA hat, Mario Kart hoodie, Adidas white Crocs, and the Home Depot orange apron. Do you work here? You guys are starting to understand what I was dealing with all that time. You're starting to understand it now. Fit Down Sports says, is there anything better than a CobraCast while in the hot tub enjoying vacation? Thanks for a great weekend, Jeremy, and the 199. Hell yeah, man. I know you were having a blast out there, man. So glad you're still chilling. Hope you're still having fun, man. Brighton says, JD Advanced Tax, hail the 199. Angel says, hail 199 and Snake Pit. Brighton says, excuse me, Sir Tax. This is the new meme. Hail. This is the new meme now. This is the new meme. RBI Baseball and NES, very good. I still will take Baseball Stars. Packet Proton says, personally, think we need to send in ground troops to the entire region in Iran, Iraq, anything with a stand in it. I mean, I hope it doesn't get to that point, but ultimately, I'm just going to have to repeat the same thing that I keep repeating, and it's going to be not like a lot of podcasters or influencers. I don't know what's going on over in the Middle East. Nobody does except for the Trump administration. I have no idea. I don't like it. I wish we weren't there. And I hope that they get this thing taken care of sooner than later. But I don't actually know what's going on, and no one else does either. It's all just a bunch of people speculating about shit they don't know about. None of us actually know what's happening. That's the truth. We can speculate, we can theorize, and as long as you qualify your speculation and theorizing with just that, then that's okay. You can theorize all you want, but you have a ton of people that are acting like they know exactly what is happening every given second of every given moment. It's just stupid, man. Common sense, man. It's all you got to do is when you're listening to people, common sense. Simple as that. Fran Forsythe becomes a new member. Thank you. Little Jim Salo says, ma'am, this is Wendy's. General Duality says, I started watching Breaking Bad over the weekend. I am in the middle of season 3. What a great series. I didn't finish it the last time I watched it. Well, I'm glad you are watching it now. And yes, Breaking Bad objectively is one of the greatest television shows ever made. And you know, I mean, it's not my favorite, but there's just no doubt it's one of the greatest television shows ever made. Nandy450 says also the clip of Trump saying he doesn't want to say the person they are negotiating as he doesn't want them killed shows that Trump doesn't trust Netflix Yahoo as he wants to destroy Iran. U.S. wants a weak Iran. U.S. negotiating independently. I mean, I think that's always kind of been the case that Trump doesn't trust. This is a great point, what you're making right here. That Trump not trusting Netflix Yahoo. And it's weird because like we've seen Trump in the past get frustrated with Israel. Remember the whole they don't know what the fuck they're doing comment. You've seen him tweeting out stuff. And whenever that happens, the anti-Israel crowd spins that to go, that's just them telling Trump to put counter messaging out to make it look like he's not controlled. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? That is your cope? That Trump is now putting negative Israel messaging out there so that we won't think that he's controlled by Israel. He said they don't know what the fuck they're doing because Netanyahu told him to do that. He ordered that. I'm like, good Lord, man. These people are completely fucking nuts. It doesn't make any sense. So let me get this straight. So all of the stuff with Netanyahu coming to the White House as many times as he's come to the White House, all of the times with Trump appearing with him in the White House, the anti-Israel crowd taking that video of Trump pushing the chair for Netanyahu as a sign that Trump is controlled, yet they don't show any of the other videos of Trump doing that for other world leaders. They only show it for Netanyahu, okay? They only do. And so like all that subtle stuff, people run with that. But at the same time, these people are like, well, yeah, they're putting the negative Israel stuff out there so that people won't realize what's going on. I'm like, good God, man. Okay. Wow. These people do not live in reality. Mr. Bentham says, start with El Camino, Beardo. Very good. Very good. I did see this video, and I want to see it. I have not watched it. It's Megyn Kelly and Piers Morgan talking about Trump's mixed messages with Iran. I'm curious how they're going to approach this because the media still thinks that they are privy to every piece of information going on in a conflict like this. The media thinks like President Trump should tell us exactly what's going on. He should tell us every move and every motivation and every tactic and every military location and operation. And if he doesn't tell us, he's putting mixed messages out there. It's crazy.
But we begin with developments on the war in Iran, which seem to be changing by the minute. Early this morning, President Trump posting a message to Truth Social claiming, quote, productive talks are underway with Iran and saying, therefore, he is postponing his own self-imposed deadline to strike Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure. The president 2 days ago gave the 48-hour deadline, saying if Iran did not open the Strait of Hormuz, he would, quote, obliterate various Iranian power plants, starting with the biggest one first. That deadline would be 7:44 p.m. this evening. In response, Iran then promising to, quote, irreversibly destroy essential infrastructure across the Middle East, even suggesting they may hit desalination plants throughout the region, which would be truly catastrophic for Israel and potentially for the Gulf states. So that's where we stood because Iran didn't open the street.
Hang on. Jeremy was always pretty pro-Israel. I'm not as trusting as Jeremy about Israel, but you guys must see that Iran is much about much more. Okay, like all sarcasm aside, when have I ever been legitimately pro-Israel? When have I ever given a fuck about Israel? Like it's like I've never been pro-Israel. I've never been anti-Israel. I've always been, I don't give a shit about Israel. I've never pretended to know anything about that region. Never even cared about it. Didn't even know what the fuck Mossad was. Had to Google that shit. Okay? When I got accused of working for them.
Strait of Hormuz as demanded by President Trump. And that's where things stood until this morning, thus staring down that 7:44 p.m. deadline, which was looking rather ugly. It caused stock futures to jump and the cost of oil to fall because President Trump came out suggesting we'd reach some sort of a agreement. And then many asked whether this entire thing is about market manipulation. Okay, so did we actually reach a stand down with Iran? Did we speak with them? How? Through whom?
How about none of our fucking business? From a media standpoint, none of your fucking business, Megyn Kelly. We're talking about people that manipulate their own people, constantly lying to them, mowing them down in the streets for protesting them, torturing women, torturing children. Like, and you're like, well, did we? Did we? Who fucking cares? It's not your fucking business, woman. Get in the kitchen and shut up.
They're denying it. Iran's foreign minister came out and denied any talks were underway at all. And the New York Times reporting that the Israeli military, no sooner than Trump had issued that Truth Social, began conducting a new wave of strikes today. And that's extremely important. So Trump says you got 48 hours to allow traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran says, F you, if you strike us in the way you're saying, after 48 hours by hitting our energy plants, we are going to hit the desalination plants throughout the Middle East, among other targets. And there it stood in détente until this morning when Trump issued his great news. We've been speaking with the Iranians. We've made major progress, and I'm going to hold off on my threat. Then the Iranians come out and deny that we've been having any such talks and say this is Trump caving because they know he doesn't want, excuse me, what they threatened.
So Megyn Kelly, who has interviewed President Trump multiple times, who has known him for as long as I can remember, and she is now taking the word of Iran at face value over President Trump. I again, just the fact that she's even taking Iran's comments in any serious capacity whatsoever, the fact that she's even trying to qualify them in any way, shape, or form is next fucking level.
And that this is a sort of taco situation. Trump always chickens out. That's what his critics are saying. It's what the Iranians are saying. But either way, no sooner does Trump say, okay, we're going to stop our threat and we won't be bombing any of your energy plants or et cetera, then the Israelis drop a couple of bombs and proceed full steam ahead. Any talk of this war winding down, which comes as welcome news to most of us, probably sends shivers down the spine of Senator Lindsey Graham, who is still out there as the main spokesperson for the administration for some reason. It's amazing.
So so Megan's more upset at Lindsey Graham than she is Iran potentially just lying about everything. She's more upset with Lindsey Graham, which again, I can't stand Lindsey Graham either. Okay. But do you notice how she's going to basically, the moment she brings up Lindsey Graham, she's going to immediately discredit Lindsey Graham. Rightfully so. Lindsey Graham should be discredited. Did she discredit Iran with all of the stuff that she said that they were saying? Did she discredit them with their history of lying and manipulating? No, she just basically took their words at face value. Do you kind of see what's going on here? Do you see how the message is being presented? She has no problem discrediting Lindsey Graham, who's a piece of garbage. But with Iran, she's like, well, Iran said this, and Iran said this, and, and so we don't know what's going on.
That Trump, who is generally a communications genius, has seen fit to let this guy be the face of this war. Just yesterday on Fox News, he was calling for U.S. Marines to take Iran's Karg Island, which would be extremely complicated and controversial, comparing the operation to Iwo Jima during World War II.
Exactly right. If any Iranian leader admitted to talking with Trump, the Iranian guard would off them. John freaking Murdoch, what's up, brother? Exactly.
Here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Karg Island, where all of the resources...
Now, I will say this to Megyn Kelly's credit, because she's not stupid. Her audience hates this man. Now, to be fair, I think every audience hates this man. Not really sure who likes him, but she knows that going against or playing his clips and going after him, very beneficial to her audience. Credit where credit's due.
they have to produce oil, control that island, let this regime down a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Karg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from The Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take Karg Island. We believe in their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair
tired
quarterback.
Of all
this has been
this
amazing military.
Shut up, Lindsey Graham. Lolbert's in your comments, LARPing as spies, even though they claim to hate surveillance, claim that they have been a big fan but lost respect for you. Oh, dude, it's my comment section since this Iran war started has been a clusterfuck. And I mean, like after the live stream, you look at my comment section, people are just fucking crushing me, dude. Like crushing me. And again, that is all meant to it's meant to demoralize you. That's the whole point behind it. It does nothing but make me laugh. That's all it does. It means absolutely nothing to me. But unlike these clowns, you know, I'm not going to censor them because they can bitch about me all they want. I don't give a shit. But since the Iran stuff has started, though, they have been crushing me in the comment section.
Operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines, not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island.
What up, Harley Dave?
Iwo Jima, we can do this. The Marines, my money is always on the Marines.
Unbelievable. 6,821 U.S. service personnel died in the battle for Iwo Jima.
See, now you're just playing. Now you're just so again. You gave credible references to the Iran media and the Iran state, basically saying, "Oh, this is what they're saying," not questioning anything that they said. Just being like, well, Iran said this and Trump is saying that, and we don't know what's going to happen. But she's going to be upset over Lindsey Graham. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
19,217 were wounded. How dare he speak about it so cavalierly? How dare he?
How dare you reference Iran as a credible source for information after all the shit they've done to their people, Megan? You can grandstand on any fucking thing you want. How dare you? How dare you?
Kids, he's not sending a young son or daughter into battle. F this guy.
Like she gives a shit about any
Anna
of this.
Paulina Luna posting on X that Senator Graham is acting as if our troops are, quote, expendable cattle. That's exactly right. How dare he? And now we learn over the weekend that Rupert Murdoch was one of the main people to be goading Trump into this war. Rupert Murdoch, who is 95 years old. He'll be dead soon.
Let's see. Stephen Miller says, hang on. Where did that? He said I'm dumb, which I mean I am, so I'm not, is what it is. Where did it go? Your comment. I can't find your comment. There's a comment here. Stephen Miller 2544 says Jeremy doesn't know anything about politics or global affairs in general, so his views are dumb as fuck. He's kind of out of his wheelhouse. The only way you would know I'm stupid is if you watched me a lot. So thank you for watching me a lot. Because you can't say I'm stupid if you've never watched me, or you'd be lying. So in order to know that I'm stupid, in order to know that I don't know anything about politics, in order to know that I don't know anything about global affairs, you would have to watch me a lot. So that speaks volumes about how stupid you are. I'm making money by doing this. You're watching me because you love me. You're probably masturbating right now, which is kind of weird. Hopefully, it's because Megyn Kelly is on screen. I'm just going to hope that's the case, and it has nothing to do with me. But I do appreciate you watching and getting a lot of information from me.
And he, too, is acting as if our troops are, quote, expendable cattle. He won't have to live with the consequences of what he's doing. And good for Anna Paulina Luna. Also, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace called him out as well. There are now Republicans pushing back on this bloodthirsty lunatic for how jubilantly he wants to send our troops in to fight his favorite and Israel's.
Does Lindsey Graham have any power in this country to send troops to war? Individually, does Lindsey Graham have any individual power to do anything? No, he does not. Yet Megyn Kelly is grandstanding all over Lindsey Graham because she knows that her audience will eat it up. Yet she had she had no pushback on Iran's words about President Trump. She had no pushback off anything that Iran was saying or reporting. Good Lord, these people are cringe. You can take the person out of the mainstream, but you can't take the mainstream out of the person.
Battle. Joining me now on all of it, Piers Morgan. He's host of Piers Morgan Uncensored on YouTube. Piers, welcome back. Let's just start as journalists with the folly of making this lunatic the face of the war by a man, Trump, who normally is more media savvy than us all. What is happening there?
Well, Megyn, great to be back on your show. I do not understand any of this. Donald Trump is somebody who the entire world,
as opposed to you understanding all of it. Hey, President Trump has, briefed all of the press on every plan for his military operation. He's told us everything. He's told us every single thing that he has planned out. He gave us locations that they want to strike, and he has given us all of the specific details of every fucking thing that he wants to do. That's the media. The media thinks they're entitled to this shit. Mainstream people think they are entitled to this.
knows campaigned very vociferously and very repeatedly on a ticket of no more engagement in foreign wars, which he felt was way too expensive, both economically and on human life. And he wanted to focus on boosting the American economy. And then a few months before the midterm elections, which are going to be difficult enough as it is for any incumbent president, he launches the biggest attack in the Middle East that we've seen since the Iraq War, possibly even bigger, given the enormity of what is now coming back in by way of Iran's response. It's having an obvious, massive impact on not just the US economy, but the global economy. And none of the predictions that we were given in the first few days has come true. In fact, quite the opposite. It looks that like the Americans and the Israeli combined military has been very successful militarily in destroying a lot of Iranian military hardware. But in terms of tactics in this war, the Iranians have basically held everybody to hostage because they control the Strait of Hormuz and because they know that by attacking their neighboring Gulf states, in places that will really hurt them, to do with their energy plants, to do with tourism areas and so on, that they can have a stranglehold over any military. And that's exactly what's happened. And the constant mixed messaging from Donald Trump and the administration, and the very incendiary...
I don't know what he's talking about. Piers is just all over the place right now. Piers is like, I don't understand what's going on, but here's what's going on from Iran's perspective. But what? Hey, yeah, I don't understand what's going on here. I'm very confused. However, here's everything that's going on from Iran's perspective and how they're controlling everything.
Gung-ho rhetoric from people like Lindsey Graham, the combined effect of all this, when we can all see with our own eyes how this war is playing out, and it's quite clear the Iranians have not got the abject surrender memo, and I'm not even sure that they have got the memo we're being told about this morning, which is that they're all ready to do a deal. They're showing no sign of any of this. And so I sit here scratching my head in incredulity about what of any of this makes any sense at all if you're the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Trump's messaging has been everywhere. You know, that we've obliterated them. We've basically won.
What do you want his messaging to be? Do you want him to get up in front of the fucking cameras and say exactly what his fucking plan is when you're dealing with the evil terrorist? Good Lord, man. Like, seriously, these people hear themselves? What is he supposed? He's supposed to just tell everybody his plan?
Oh, we're about to obliterate you, and we will win. It's over. You know, we've defeated them. We've achieved all our objectives, and then we may be sending in ground troops to take Karg Island. They have no defenses left. We've destroyed everything, and then you open up the Strait of Hormuz, or we're bombing all of your energy plants. Like you waited 24 hours, and you will get a brand new message from our president. Meanwhile, Iran is sitting over there saying, we are not negotiating. We don't know who he thinks he's negotiating with, but we didn't agree to anything. This is a stand down by the president, who realized that we meant it, that if he actually did start bombing our energy plants, we were going to start attacking the desalination plants throughout the region, which, you know, we've reported in our morning news update this morning. Piers is like...
That is correct, Little Jim's Halo. At least to my knowledge, I will say. And again, I have been a little off the radar the last week because of everything going on. But Trump hasn't said they would send troops to Iran. There have been reports, but nothing directly from the Trump administration that I'm aware of has Trump himself said he's thinking about sending troops. But they're going off of reports because this is what they do. Mar Millen says, I used to be a fan of Jeremy until he admitted that he, in fact, does not work here. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm sick and tired of this guy. Thank you. Mar Millen, Minister of Health says, Trump said he wouldn't hit the power plants. He did not say he wouldn't hit them at all this week. Also, Iran's Twitter accounts aren't actually ran by them. That's why the dead Khamenei is still tweeting. Yeah, like, the freaking dead Ayatollah is tweeting all the fucking time. So, like, is Megyn Kelly going to be like, well, you know, the Ayatollah is still tweeting, so is he really dead? It's just fucking crazy, man. Guns and Butter says, small hat fig gremlin for 10 says, I get people with Israel, but for someone that lived in a combat zone most of his military service, they are one of America's ride or die allies. However, they are also like a little brother that runs their mouth knowing that big brother will bail them out, and that's the real problem with Israel. This is a very, very good breakdown of the situation. This is a very good breakdown. They're like a little brother that runs their mouth, annoying everybody, and the big brother has to bail it out. That is a perfect example and explanation of this entire situation. This is the thing that makes the most sense. Again, common sense is all you have to do. Well, why are we fighting Israel's war? Why are you fighting your little brother's fight? Because your little brother's an arrogant douchebag who's got a big brother who's jacked, who can beat anybody's ass. And the little brother runs around like an arrogant prick, starting shit that he can't finish. And big brother has to go finish it. That is a very common sense approach to the whole situation. Good point, Gremlin. Marmelin says the last retarded journo that got classified information, Geraldo Rivera, where he then went live on air on an international broadcast, gave those plans out, troop movements, they've stopped that. Correct. Good old Geraldo. I remember that. I 100% remember that too. Geraldo Rivera. Dumbass idiot. Masad 199 says, shout out. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure says, Trump says the war is winding down. If so, why are thousands of additional troops being deployed? And why is Hegseth asking for $2 billion in funding? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've heard that per se, but yeah, I mean, those are questions that I have no access to. Megyn Kelly probably knows all the answers though, or Owen Schroyer. Fifth Down Sports says, all these people are idiots. I only listen to what Gary thinks about all things because he is ahead of the curve. Look at there. The 10 poll for $5. Thank you. Philip says, Jeremy choose a woman and a panicking. Click baiting. That's very true. Fran Forsyth says, lost all respect for Jeremy after being a big fan tax. Philip says, not to mention the Jeremy is a fig tax. Fifth Down Sports says, Jeremy, I knew you were stupid the minute I first saw you on stream, and I've been a fan ever since. Long hail the stupid. Look at that. That's nice. That's nice. The little fapper for $1. No, I'm not. Says Stephen Miller is just butthurt that his wife left him for a cop. Chad says, what to know about politics? Is MAGA a good guy versus Democrats? You mean MAGA? And the evil POS is that they are. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Little Jim Taylor says, it's OPSEC. They want intel on what Trump is going to do next. They'll get a number of troops killed for that. These people are insane. Correct. L-Wing Secret Guard says, Trump said he was in talks with Iran, not the regime. There's a difference. Ryan Miller says, the entitlement of the media and the black pillars over this operation is amazing to me. They're acting and behaving like children, and it's pathetic. Bruce says the Iran war would be much better using the binge model over weekly release. Do you know what? You are 100% accurate about that. Epically Eddie says, got my CobraCast hoodie and G&G Orlando meetup shirt mail today. Wearing the hoodie now. Feels great. Thank you for the merch, 199. Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. Rooster becomes a new member. Thank you. Darth Gavel says, Israel is Home Alone and America is Reacher. We have a story about the Reacher actor update too.
You've got several of these Gulf countries, these Gulf Arab countries that have over 90% of their drinking water depends on desalination. I mean, that it would be truly catastrophic if the Iranians actually did that, not to mention what knocking out the Iranian energy plants would do to world energy prices and oil prices. And Iran hasn't budged on the Strait of Hormuz problem.
Right. And you've got no sign of any actual regime change. We know the Ayatollah was killed. We haven't seen his son, so he's presumed either dead or very seriously injured in a way that's incapacitated him. But regardless of that, the IRGC are still clearly firmly in charge of the country, and we know that because there's been no sign of any uprising.
I mean, how do you wait? So you know that, but you don't know anything about what Trump is doing, but you have all the answers from Iran. Again, think about what you're listening to right now. So Piers just claimed that we know because of speculation. But with Trump, he's got mixed messaging, guys. There's some mixed messaging with Trump. But with Iran, well, we know this. We know everything. We know everything that's happening.
We haven't seen his son, so he's presumed either dead or very seriously injured in a way that's incapacitated him. But regardless of that, the IRGC are still clearly firmly in charge of the country.
Thank you, Piers.
And we know that because there's been no sign of any uprising by the people, many of whom are very opposed to the regime. But there are two reasons why we're not seeing the uprising, or three, I would argue. One is there are bombs obviously flying everywhere, which makes it very unsafe to hit the streets. Secondly, they remember what happened in January when the regime cracked down in the most vicious and vengeful manner against protesters, killing up to 30,000 of them. And three, it's obvious to everybody that the IRGC are completely in control. And there are 250,000 of them. There are 400,000 to 500,000 paramilitaries below them, heavily armed. And then there's nearly 1 million regular Iranian army. This is, you're not dealing with some tin pot regime here that's just going to roll over, or a regime like Venezuela where they were quite happy to do a deal. Here you're dealing with an ideological country fueled by religion, which is pathologically opposed to any American.
Man, it's almost like Piers is making the case for why this is such a complicated situation, and Trump is being very, very guarded with every word out of his mouth. Wow. It's almost like you're making the fucking case for him, Piers, right now. Everything you're saying is justifying every action of Trump's. But you guys are sitting there going, why isn't he telling us everything he's doing? Why is he being so, guarded? Why is his messaging so mixed? Literally every fucking word out of your mouth is why.
Rule over them in any capacity, and hates Israel too, who are just not going to be bullied into towing the line in the way that Donald Trump seems to think they are. And they have the weaponry to resist being bullied. But that weaponry, it's not just military. There's a lot of military, particularly ballistic missiles, which they've now been firing way far further than people thought. And that even imperils places like where I am right now in London in terms of its potential reach. But they're doing it very tactically.
It's all good. Username on YouTube. It's all good.
Smartly, you have to be honest about it. Economically, by controlling the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil comes through every day, with the way they've gone after the neighboring Gulf states, they're sending a message that we may not have the firepower you do, but we can strangle you with the economy. And that is proving to the Gulf states and to Europe and to, I would imagine, many Americans, deeply unpalatable and ultimately unsustainable.
Tokefan says, or maybe Trump just doesn't have a good war plan, so he's wishy-washy. Based on what? We have seen Trump carry out military operations several times to a T. You have absolutely nothing to base that off of. What the fuck is that based off of? Everything Trump has done in office up to this point, he has shown extreme military tactic. Holy fuck. That's a wild take. Maybe Trump doesn't have a military plan?
The report just hitting now via the Jerusalem Post is that Iranian parliamentary speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf is leading the talks with the United States. So it's possible we have found a person to talk to. Trump had said earlier that we wouldn't know who we were talking with because who to talk to because we'd killed them all. But now there is the parliament speaker, Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, who apparently is speaking with the United States. And let's hope that's true. The latest reports on what the demands were by each side sounded absolutely impossible for reaching an agreement, Piers, though they often do in the beginning. The Iranians were demanding a ceasefire. Okay. Guarantees that the war will not resume in the future. Okay, maybe. And compensation, they use the word reparations for what we've done over there so far. The U.S. is demanding no missile program for 5 years, zero uranium enrichment. That's what we wanted beforehand that they wouldn't agree to. Decommissioning the Natanz, Ivshan, and Fordow nuclear facilities, strict outside observation protocols around the creation and use of centrifuges and related machinery that could advance a nuclear weapons program, arms control treaties that include a missile cap, no higher than 1,000, no financing for proxies. And those are the basics of the deal. International disputes, inflation.
Yeah. So basically there's Megyn Kelly so she can get her ad read, so she can get another, I would guess she's probably getting $5,000 to $10,000 per ad read. And then you start wondering, is she making these videos because she cares, or is she making them because she can get a really good ad read? Because, I mean, with Megyn Kelly's viewership, let's just be clear. With Megyn Kelly's viewership that she gets with her 4 million subscribers, I guarantee you Megyn Kelly gets $5,000 to $10,000 minimum for every fucking ad read in a video. Okay? because I know what I've been offered for this stupid shit. Okay. So it makes you wonder, does she actually care about what she's talking about? Or is she just doing it because she knows she'll get a cool 5 or 10 grand minimum for every fucking ad read, no matter what bullshit she says in her video? Interesting, isn't it? When you start, follow the money. Follow the money. Just saying. I'm trying to find this old interview of when Trump, this is like, I believe this is before, I believe this is before he became president. He was doing an interview on Fox News. And he basically was talking about how stupid our world leaders are by giving our military operations out in interviews. And I think it was during, I think he was talking about George W. Bush or something like that. But it's an old clip. It's an old clip. Many of you might remember that. But he's like, why do we have all these stupid politicians that are just going to give out our military operations to the media? But like I said, it was long before. Now, I'm sure he said it while he was president too. But this was before he was president. So it's an older Fox News clip. But I'm having trouble finding it right now. I can't track it down. So, but ultimately, yeah, this is where we are with these idiots pretending that they know what's going on when they absolutely have no clue. They have no clue what's happening. Yet I love how they complain about Trump sending mixed signals to them, but they have no problem taking Iran at face value. It's insane. But welcome to the mainstream media takeover of independent media. That's where we are. He said it a couple times in recent weeks too. Yeah, but I think that would be credible, but I think it goes farther to go back to even before he became president to call out these idiots and go, why are our stupid politicians giving out our military operations? Why are they doing that? How is that helpful? But I'm sure he said it a lot as president too. Jim P says, these idiots only know stuff if Tucker or Candace tells them what's happening. Otherwise, if the information from Trump is made up, if it's information from Trump, it is made up. I hate these woke right kooks. Vice's extreme military tactic tax. Mitchell Field says, there's a difference between boots on the ground during war and boots on the ground in a time of peace to train police and first responders. Correct. Vic Chavez says, I'm sure that the tens of thousands of murdered protesters and their families oppose U.S. military intervention. Jim P says, Trump is the best president in this half of my life. He is the GOAT. He absolutely is. No doubt about that. Okay, so we have an update to a story that I covered yesterday. And as I told you yesterday, as much as I don't like this guy, Alan Richson, I think we needed to see if there was more information to the story. And now we have more information to the story and the context. I feel like it kind of clears Alan Richson. I feel like he's cleared. And so first things first, okay? So we've got, let's go over this. Okay. So we had this video drop the other day of Reacher actor and Trump hater Alan Richson beating the shit out of a neighbor. But the video started after the fight had already started. And as I said, as much as I don't like this guy, I think we should get more information before we find out everything that's happening. But this is the initial video that we were shown. And there he is in the white shirt beating the hell out of this guy. Okay. And I thought the whole thing was weird because he turned his back to the guy. There's a couple kids on motorcycles. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So this was kind of the interaction there. Everybody drives off, walks off, whatever. They're still kind of arguing. All right, so there we go. So then we got an update from the neighbor. Here's the neighbor right here.
It started on Saturday morning and I'm an experienced motorcycle rider. I've been riding bikes all my life. So, from dirt bikes to street bikes and etc. But I'd heard this incestuous revving and speeding through our neighborhood of the motorcycle. I eventually saw the guy on Saturday. I didn't know who it was. And I sort of flippantly said, "Guy, like he was quite a way." And I said, "Can you just slow it down, please?" And then there are numerous people in my neighborhood who caught all of this on Ring doorbells of him speeding through the neighborhood. And on Sunday, when I was cleaning my bike outside my house, he rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him and I said, "You've got to stop. Someone's going to get hurt." And it escalated quite quickly from there. I did push him because he was coming towards me on his bike. He did it again for a second time. I pushed him.
This guy's lying, by the way.
Second time. And I think the second time he got off his bike and it kicked the crap out of me. And you can see he hit me in the back of my head. I went to the ground and covered myself. I've had such a shitty day today, and I don't wish the guy any malice or ill will, but we just don't need people riding through neighborhoods like this. And I just decided, I'm take a stand because someone else has to, because it's going to end up way worse than it could.
So you got that. Now we have the full video, ladies and gentlemen. The full video has been released. And I just got to say, this guy deserved to have his ass beat. He deserved to have his ass beaten. In fact, I think that he got off easy. So here is the full video. This is from Alan Richson's perspective right here. Here we go. Now, as you see, that's about 22 miles an hour right there. 22 miles an hour. 21 miles an hour. So this guy just jumps out in front of him. He jumped out in front of a fucking motorcycle going 20 miles an hour.
Stand in front of a fucking bike again, dude. We're doing what? You threatened my fucking safety, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this guy's 100% in the wrong.
You're gonna. I've called the BPD. I've called them already because you've been driving around this fucking neighborhood like a fucking lunatic, hurting this kid's running around here. Go ahead. Are you drunk right now, bro? Go ahead. Are you drinking? Go ahead. Call the police.
Now, his claim that Richson is driving around like a lunatic may be true, but you can't put yourself in the front of a moving motorcycle like that, bro. You can't do that. So, and all we have to go on is the video itself. And the video prior to you getting involved, he was going 22 miles an hour. 22 miles an hour. The speed limit might be 15 miles an hour in this area. I would think it's either 15 or 20 miles an hour.
Out of your fucking mind, dude. Call the police. Fucking, I'll fucking knock you out, bro. Unbelievable, dude. I should have run you over, dude.
I don't know what's up with the music. 22 is still fast, Jeremy? No, it's not. You know how fast it is? It's so fast that Alan Richson was able to lay his fucking bike down and avoid hitting this stupid fuck that jumped out in front of him. 22 is not fast. Shut the fuck up. Dude. This guy's an idiot, man. This guy's an idiot. I'm sorry, but based on all of this video right here, I am 100% on Team Reacher's side here. 100% based on what we're seeing. And now, even if there's video of Alan Richson speeding around the neighborhood at 50, 60 miles an hour, it still doesn't justify what this guy did. It does not justify it. This guy deserved to have his ass beaten.
Fucking out of your goddamn mind. Stay down. Fucking stupid. Christ.
I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's still like a lot of yelling and stuff. Hey, did he say it's all on camera? Bro, I got news for you. Yeah, I got news for you. Yeah. All on camera. Now, here's what's interesting here, okay? Even as he's leaving, he's still not speeding. Still not speeding. See, he's in the teens right now. 15, 18, 17. He's barely hitting 20, 22, 21, 22. He's still not even speeding as he's leaving. Now, this goes on for another minute. He's at 22 miles an hour, 25. 20, it's hard to see. I think that says 30. So it's about 30 miles an hour right now. That's it. That is not speeding at all. Looks like he's in the 20s right now, 25. I think it's kind of hard to see it. He won't speed after, probably rattled. Honestly, that would be the time to speed because his adrenaline's probably rushing and he probably is like pissed off. But yeah, that's the gist of it right there. So based on that, man, I'm sorry, but this guy right here, this guy's a piece of shit. So Alan Richson is kind of 100% justified based on that. And again, even if he was speeding, it just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't justify this guy's action. So, Jeremy, what was the last fight you got in? I got in a Twitter fight the other day. Pretty much every day I get in Twitter fights. Talking about, bro. I fight every day. I'm on these streets, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Mudkip says a couple of bucks for the Keep Mike Unmodded Fund. Hell yeah. That's what's up. Peter says 20 miles an hour is not lunatic. F off male Karen. He is a male Karen. 100%. Angry Shellback says, I yelled at my mirror this morning. Look at that, man. We're all in these streets, bro. All up in these streets. Steelix says the hoodie fits great and the shirt looks amazing. My niece had fun taking the pics for me to show you the hoodie and shirts. I just hit 940 subs. Be blessed. Congratulations, brother. That's awesome. A true Twitter veteran. You're damn right, man. Just getting in these streets, dealing with all the bullshit. That's just how we roll. Okay, next up. I don't know how a lot of you are doing with it. I mean, obviously, it doesn't really affect me because I don't fly, but this TSA situation is getting out of hand right now. 6-hour TSA lines. Democrats cripple airports as DHS shutdown sparks chaos. It's pretty wild right now.
If you're traveling and you're at the airport, things are not looking good. Rob, if you want to play some of these clips, we got a couple clips to go through. So TSA, I don't know how many videos I saw. Vinny, did you see some of these videos? I know you retweeted
Atlanta,
one of them.
Georgia.
Are you kidding me? You look at these videos and it almost doesn't look real. They're walking I saw one, the guy's walking all the way down. 3-hour wait at TSA.
In the basement.
To travel.
Yep.
3-hour wait at the TSA. Tom.
I mean, I'm not going to get on my soapbox here, okay? I'm not going to get on my soapbox. But I'm just saying, like, I hate flying. I hate the process of flying. I hate everything about it. I despise everything. I understand that there is, that security has to be very strict and in detail, but I can't do it, man. I can't.
You went to the airport this morning. You were there at 3:45 in the morning, okay, to drop off your daughter. What was it like when you guys got there this morning? This is, by the way, Middle Eastern fathers. We could have a 30-minute flight from Burbank to Vegas. My dad wants to get there 6 hours before. If you're Middle Eastern, you know what I'm talking about. Dad, the flight's at 2. Let's get there 6 a.m. We have plenty of time. We'll get there at 1:45. No, we'll get there at 6 a.m. So you got there at 3:45. What was the airport like this morning?
Yeah, spring break's over for Bailey. Back to classes today. So she wanted to be on the first flight, the early flight, for 2 reasons. One, she gets there early enough for class. But second, we were kind of worried about this. So we got to Fort Lauderdale, to the Southwest Terminal at 3:45. Why? Because TSA opens at 4 a.m. And then she had like a 5:30 flight. So she wanted plenty of time to be first in line. We pull up to the curb, and you've been there, right? We've all been to Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
The cars were too deep. You know what I'm saying? 2 cars deep. Stop side by side. You know what I'm saying? We're at the curb, unloading people and everything. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look at the crowd. And so we get her out. Kim weaves into the curb. I get her out. I walk through the double doors with her so I could look inside. And I'm like, oh boy. I said, Bailey, call us and let us know. If you get stuck and you don't make the flight, call us. We'll loop around and get you. We'll come back. But it was huge. And she texted us and let us know. TSA didn't get open until 4:15. Then TSA pre-check, got open after that. And she got through and she made her flight. But she says, I was looking back, Dad, and there were people, I know they didn't make it.
Fifth Down Sports says, why mention this when I have to fly home tomorrow? I blame you, Jeremy. To be fair, I could be helping you because what if you got to the airport a little later than you should and you missed your flight? Whereas now you're going to probably get there a little earlier and you'll be taken care of. So I'm just here to help.
Because the number of people that were there. And that was just, by the way, that's the first flight and the first people that were at Fort Lauderdale Airport today. The first. Can you imagine what it's like right now? With the whole airport open, and it's not just the first flights leaving, flights are coming in, going out. I just can't imagine what it's like right now. And this is, thank you, Elon Musk and other people who are offering to help and doing things. But I'll tell you, Pat, I've never seen it like that.
Well, the problem, so Elon Musk is basically, said he would fund all of this during this shutdown. And that just kind of goes to show you how broken our government is. That you have one individual who says, I will fund this thing that our politicians can't fix. It just kind of shows you how broken the system is. The system is so broken. It's so ridiculous.
Do you know how much of, I don't think people understand how much of a problem and how much of a soft target this opens up, Tom. These are crowded airports. They don't have the freaking security. TSA, by the way, the TSA people that are showing up, Tom, they're not getting a paycheck. They're coming just because of the goodness of their freaking hearts. And I want everybody to understand this. Everybody, wherever you are listening to this, take a second and understand this is what happens when Democrats care more about power than your life and this country. Okay, we keep talking about America and America first. They don't give a damn, okay? They don't want to approve the Save America Act. You know why? Because it's going to help illegals vote. They need these illegals to vote in elections to keep the power, full stop, okay?
Yep.
We just want people to prove that they're citizens, and the Democrats said, oh, really? Guess what? Shut it down. Shut it down. And anybody telling you otherwise is full of you-know-what, okay? Thank God Elon Musk is at least offering to pay these TSA agents. But Tom, would you feel safe? Like, I get it. My mom and my sister are coming here on Wednesday. I don't feel safe for these people. It's packed with people. It takes one person to just creep in there and do something stupid.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I agree with that, because these crowds were waiting for the baggage drop at Southwest. They're waiting for the kiosk at Southwest. And then they're also waiting for the TSA. And so if I was some loon walking in.
Look at this shit right here. TSA lines in Houston are now reaching 4 hours long. Oh my. That is a complete and total nightmare. Again, there is a level of convenience to it for sure. But I mean, like, and people that fly often can probably have a better answer than me. But so, of course, let's say you wait. If you have to wait 4 hours to go through security, okay? You have to wait 4 hours. Then let's say you're flying from Florida to California. What is that, about a 5 or a 6 hour flight? I've done that one time in my life. I think it was like 5 hours. So you got a 9 hour, you got 4 hours there. You got 5 hours in the air. That's 9 hours. You're probably another hour probably taking off. So once you get through security, get your baggage, all that, then it's about another hour before the plane takes off. So you're at 10 hours just there. Then once you land, if you're dealing with this much chaos when you're leaving, do you deal with the same amount of chaos when you land, when you get your bags? Are you looking at another 2 to 4 hours to get all of that? That's a question I don't know. So I'm asking, like, if it's chaotic when you leave, do you deal with the same level of chaos when you're landing? So it's like another 4 hours? No? Okay, so what is it, like an hour probably total to get your bags? So in all reality, you're looking at 11 to 12 hours with waiting, flying, sitting in the plane. You know, when the plane lands, get your bags. So what, 11 to 12 hours total. That's a long time. However, that's still significantly less than driving it, because I've driven from Florida to LA before, and it is significantly less time.
Because there's no security out there.
Period.
There are cops out there that are more worried about all these vehicles that are stopping at the curb. Hey, if you've dropped your person, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to keep the traffic moving. But that is not just a soft target, that's a juicy target. Yep. It's terrible. I would hate to see something like that. But this is what you have now. And at least they've said, hey, ICE is going to come and they're going to do some of the crowd control and some things like this to help. But
Linko Kenobi in the house for 50 says, what's up, Jeremy? I always get first out because I work in the airlines. I know how it is, especially now that TSA is shorthanded and Dems close the government again. That's why whenever I fly, I will always take the first flight out. Always. Hail to you, Linko. Again, great seeing you here in Orlando, brother. And meetup, awesome. And yeah, I mean, I did a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I did work. I worked at the airport. I worked in baggage. So I loaded, all the bags on the plane. That is one of the toughest jobs I've ever had. Not the toughest, but it's one of, because you had to work your ass off in the baggage department. It is not easy. I only did that for a few months, but it was miserable, man. I hated it so much. I truly despised it. Let's see. You guys are saying Trump is live. Is Trump live? Let's see. I don't know if he's live or not. Yeah, Trump is live. Here we go.
Thanks as well to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Chairman Jason Smith, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, and many other friends that are gathered with us. It's great group of people. For 13 years, Mark, I won't wrestle him for anything. All-American wrestler, huh? Good, you have good genetics in that family. Proud of you. Thanks as well to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Chairman Jason Smith, Congressman Josh Gottheimer.
We'll follow back up on the TSA stuff. What up, Jay?
And many other friends that are gathered with us. It's great group of people. For 13 years, Mark Wayne has represented the incredible state of Oklahoma, a state that I won 77 out of 77 counties 3 times in a row. So they like me there. Second was Ronald Reagan at 56. Did you know that? 56. That's not bad. But 77, it's 77 out of 77, I think, right? That's not bad. But he was there in Congress as a member of the House and then as an outstanding United States Senator. And he really has been outstanding. He's been a close and vital partner in helping us secure the border, stop migrant crime, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again and make America great again. And he's a tremendous player. He worked with Tom Holman, worked with all of our people.
Exactly, Gremlin.
And,
exactly.
And everything he's done has been good. I say everything he touched has turned to gold. Now, but even in business, he was successful, in all fairness. And he was successful. And he said, I want to go into politics. I hope you're happy. But as the only Native American, I didn't know that, huh? Let me look at you. Well, I think that's all right. He's got great quality, I can tell you. He's the only Native American in the Senate. How many have been there before you? Do you know? Native American? I think 3. 3. Well, you're a fantastic representative. Mark Wayne has also been a fantastic advocate for our cherished tribal communities. He's now the first member of the Cherokee Nation ever to serve as a member of the cabinet. I didn't know all these things. I would have picked him faster if I had been. I would have made a quicker decision. Prior to his career in public service, Mark Wayne had a very successful career in business, leaving school at age 20 after his father got sick, taking over his family business and turning it into a multi-million-dollar success story. He's a very successful guy. Mark Wayne has also a career as an MMA fighter. That's why I looked at his ears and I said, I'm not going to fight with him. You can tell a lot about a person by their ears, right? During which he went totally undefeated. He was undefeated during his career, and he's been inducted into the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the family is made of fantastic wrestlers, especially that guy right there. That's my favorite guy, huh? And suffered bad injury and come back stronger than ever, I think. So good to have you, man, right? I have no doubt that as he takes the helm of DHS, Mark Wayne will fight for Homeland Security, the United States, and securing the country and making it really strong and the way it should be. Our country's come a long way in the last year. We set it up so beautifully, and then we had 4 years of horror. We had 4 years of disgusting horror, open borders, and things that nobody would even think of. You wouldn't even think of. 25 million people poured into our country, and we've gotten a lot of them out, but we have a lot more to go. 11,888 murderers came into our country. People came in from all over the world, from prisons and gangs, gang members, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, insane asylums. That's the mental institution times 2. And what they allowed to happen to our country can never be allowed to happen again, and it won't. With Mark Wayne, we have somebody that's strong, professional, and fair. As you know, the department that Mark Wayne takes over today is currently shut down by radical left Democrat thugs in Congress who have blocked all funding for DHS because they're trying to shield illegal alien criminals, gang members. They want to protect them from being taken out of the country, drug dealers, murderers. They're protecting them all. I don't know how people can vote for these people. You know, I see the midterms are close. I don't know what close means, but I don't know how people can vote for them. You take a look, men, they want men to be able to play in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. Terrible, but that's the way it is. They don't want to give voter ID. They don't want voter ID for elections. They don't want proof of citizenship for elections. And then they get the vote. They do cheat, but I don't know. It's hard to believe they can cheat that much. Just in the past few days, we've seen the horrifying consequences of Democrats' deadly open border extremism. They want open borders, and they want to open the borders again if they have their chance, because they think they're going to get votes by doing that. On Thursday, a precious 18-year-old college student named Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed while she was walking in a park. She was just walking into the park, didn't do anything. The illegal alien monster charged with Sheridan's brutal murder had come illegally from Venezuela and been released into our country by sleepy Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. And I don't say that because I think he's fine. He's okay. I don't like him, dislike him. I talk about job performance. That's all I care about, job performance. Worst president in history. And Obama wasn't far behind, by the way. But he was then arrested and released again by Democrat governor, a real slob of a governor, J.B. Pritzker, in the sanctuary city of Chicago, which we could make safe in 2 months, I would say. 2 months if we sent in the group, Tom, right? 2 months would be good. 3 months, very good. 4 or 5 months, it would be great. But they would never call because they don't want to do that. All they have to do is call and ask for a little help. The Democrats in Congress do not care how much American blood they shed in their demented pursuit of open borders. From Sheridan Gorman to Jocelyn Nungary and Laken Riley, their quest to flood our country with illegal aliens has left countless American victims in its wake. They never changed. They see what's happening. They never change. That's what they want. They want to get the votes with sanctuary and sanctuary cities going at levels that they are. And we've ended a lot. We've done a lot. But for some reason, they love it. It's a sanctuary. You know, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for, it's really a sanctuary for criminals. With Secretary Mullen at DHS, we will continue our record-setting efforts to deport these illegal alien criminals from our country, and we are doing at record levels despite a very unfair court system, a radicalized left court system, and others that I'm not too fond of also. And we'll protect innocent American lives. Every single illegal migrant who is a criminal record must be deported immediately. If they have a criminal record, you got to deport them. And there's a lot that came in under Biden. And Kamala, the great border czar, Kamala, who never went to the border, never called Border Patrol, never once called Border Patrol. Can you imagine that, Jim? She's the border czar. She never called Border Patrol. Explain that to me. He's the worst. She was as bad as he was. Going to give him IQ tests next week. Under the Trump administration, we've achieved unprecedented gains on public safety. Yesterday, we were in Memphis, Tennessee, to celebrate the steepest reduction in crime ever recorded. We've been there for about 5 months, and the numbers, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And thanks to our Memphis Safe Task, it's called Safe Task Force, alongside our efforts in Washington, D.C. And what we've done in Washington is amazing. We have Washington as a safe city now. It's been amazing. It's been, if you go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, Washington was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, let alone this country. And now we have a very safe city. What they've done with all of the people working, many of the people standing right there, has been incredible. And now we're going to see all of our cities take a big step because of Mark Wayne. In 1 year, my administration, we've created the most secure border in the United States history and the largest drop in illegal immigration ever recorded, slashed the illegal fentanyl crossings on our border by 64%, and accomplished the largest decline in the murder rate in the history of our country, bringing it down to 1,900. That's before my father was born. My father was born a little bit after that. He wouldn't be happy mentioning this because he never liked talking about age, but he lived to be a ripe old age. But that's before my father was born. Think of it, 1900, we have a record, 1900. Murders last year were at the lowest level in 125 years, and we're making America safe again. We're doing it at levels that everything we're doing, we're making great. The borders are great. The military is great. We're having, by the way, a tremendous success, as you know, in Iran. We had one in
that was
Venezuela.
before
Now
Jay.
we're having one in Iran. They have no.
That's before Jay became a big celebrity. He's too big of a deal. I can't afford Jay on my show anymore. His costs are way too much.
Radar left. No leaders left. The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to. But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal. And we'll see what happens. I want to thank Pete Hegseth. The job you're doing over there is really incredible. You and the general and all of the other generals and colonels and captains and majors and everybody else, right? It's a perfect, amazing thing. We make the best military equipment in the world. Now we're going to make it faster. We want to get it faster, but we make the best in the world. We're doing it, Joe.
Let's hope he does then.
So I'd like to ask Attorney
Hope so.
General Bondi to come and do the honors.
Oh,
of
no.
Swearing in a man who's going to do a phenomenal job.
Deal with Bondi.
For a country. And I tell you, your family has to be very proud. You have to be very proud. Everybody wanted this job. I said, there's one man for this job, and I have no doubt he's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Pam. Come on over. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith to allegiance and do the same.
And that I take this obligation freely.
Take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully.
And that I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties of the office.
Discharge the duties of the office.
On which I am about to enter.
Which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Secretary.
Hey.
Thank you. I think that was the most nervous I've ever been. It just seems surreal being in the Oval Office and having the President of the United States speak so highly of me and then recognize my family and know my family by name. It's humbling, and I never take it for granted, but I made this very clear that I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same. And we will do that. I'll fight every single day. Today, I got the privilege of meeting so many of the employees at DHS. These employees have been there for 30 days without pay. And if you need anything to know their dedication to show up and still protect the homeland that you and I enjoy and the freedoms that we're experiencing, they're working with for free. Because of political politics, that's all I need to know. I told them, as you're fighting 365 days, understand I'll be fighting 365 days beside you. No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I love that expression. No one's going to outwork me. That's a wrestler's expression, isn't it? Huh? That's a good wrestler's expression. Yes, please.
Mr. President, will the Secretary's replacement in the Senate support the SAVE Act and the use of the talking filibuster to get it through?
Well, it's not the SAVE Act. It's not called this. It's called the Save America Act. There's a big difference because the SAVE Act, nobody knows what that means. Save America means Save America. And I can't speak for him, but I would imagine that Mark Wayne, I didn't even ask him the question because who wouldn't support it? Voter ID with a picture. You want citizenship, proof of citizenship. Ideally, you want to end mail-in ballots because there's tremendous corruption. Then we added a couple of things, Mark Wayne, like I don't think being a great athlete and having a family of great athletes, they have produced great athletes in this family, all-American wrestlers. They especially like wrestling, by the way. And what about baseball? Do you play baseball? Anything? They like wrestling. But I don't think that you would say that his family, and I don't know this for a fact, and I shouldn't say it because I could get myself. Does anybody in your family want men to play in women's sports? I don't think so, Jim, right? I don't think so. I don't think. How would they do? Would they do good wrestling you? They would be in trouble. He said, yes, they'd be in big trouble. It's so crazy. So that would be one. And then we have a few others that we call them the best of Trump. But if you look at transgender mutilization of children, we don't want that. Mutilization of children. We don't want that. So generally speaking, I think I can answer that Mark Wayne would be very much in favor of what I'm in favor of. Would you say that's right, Mark? I can't think of too many things. He might be worse. He might be worse than me. That's my look at his wife and say that's right. But so yeah, he's going to be great. Yeah.
Do you believe the secretary will run DHS any differently than Kristi Noem did? What do you hope to see as his priorities?
This is amazing spelling right here.
We created the strongest border with the help of that man right there. Tom is so incredible. He's going to be a big influence here too. There's nobody more professional, nobody better. There's nobody better as a human being. You know, he looks tough, but he's got a good heart, but not too good. Don't make it too good. But you know, we had Tom. We have the safest border we've ever had. We have a lot of assets, but a lot of things we can do, and we're going to do. We have to get criminals out of our country that were allowed in by Biden. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, do you support what appears to be a merging agreement coming out of the Senate to reopen DHS?
Well, I'm going to look at it, and we're going to take a good hard look at it. I want to support Republicans, and you know, sometimes it's awfully hard to get votes when you have Democrats that don't want to have voter ID. They don't want to have proof of citizenship. They don't want to do anything about men playing in women's sports. That's one of the items we put on, you know. And I did that just because it's so popular. You know, they say that's at least an 80-20 issue. No, it's about a 99-1. I don't think it's, what do you think, Pete? Do you think it's 80-20? Who's closer, 80-20 or 99-1?
Almost 100.
Yeah, I think 100 is really the, so, you know, so I support that, and I support common sense.
Would you be comfortable with a deal that involves separating ICE funding from the DHS funding package in order to reopen?
Well, they're working on all of that. You know, that's a detail that they'll explain later. Please.
Integrity and DHS measures. Mr. President, since CISA falls under DHS, and given that many credible voices have raised concerns over its premature and possibly likely faulty 2020 election assessment, will you and Secretary Mullen implement reforms at CISA and at DHS to ensure full confidence in future elections, like in the upcoming?
About it. We'll talk about it. You know, pros and cons. Look, they used it to try and put me in prison, right? So I can't be thrilled with it. They use that very strongly, very illegally. The Democrats are thugs, and I don't want to say that. It'd be nice to everyone get along, but it's a different country than it was years ago.
Calls them thugs and says, I don't want to say that.
It was very dangerous.
Amazing.
The way they used it. And they weaponize government. They use that to weaponize government. So I'm not thrilled, but I'll also go along with two groups of people, the military, and I think the military likes it, right? And I'll go along with the senators. I'm fine. But I was a big victim of it. Yeah, please.
Are you going to send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff to do direct negotiations with the Iranians?
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations as it turned out. And now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it. And the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. They're pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world. And one shot to the right location ends the plant, it collapses. And we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah.
What was the turning point to make you want to pursue a ceasefire? A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
How do you ensure they won't have a nuclear
Your
weapon?
former Border Patrol chief, Greg Bobino, said his only regret is that he didn't catch more illegal aliens. What's your reaction to that?
Who said that?
That's your former Border Patrol chief. He just retired.
Well, I mean, we captured a lot. They were allowed into the country by Sleepy Joe and that group of incompetent people that were, he was the worst president ever, the group of incompetent people. To me, that's the biggest scar. Inflation, they caused the highest inflation we've ever had. We've already gotten rid of it. The biggest scar is what they did, the people that they allowed from prisons all over the world. They came from the Congo, from all over South America. Rough people, really tough people. So, no, I understand what he means. He would have liked to have captured more. I'm not capturing so much as removing. We're removing thousands of people, and many are self-deporting because we're going after them so powerfully that they're self-deporting. Tom, going back, I think that's one of the big unkept secrets. We have thousands and thousands of people, and they're self-deporting. They're going back to where they came from. But what we want really is the criminals. We're really focused on those criminals, getting them out. Yeah.
What's your message right now to Democrats and also to Americans that are stuck in airports? It's really devastating watching it online because Democrats won't fund DHS.
What's devastating?
Your message to Americans right now stuck in airports as we speak because Democrats won't
Well,
fund
they just
DHS?
don't, they won't. Look, this is a deal that was done in the great big beautiful deal, which gave you the biggest tax cuts ever, including no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security for the seniors. Think of it. No tax on overtime, tax deductions. When you buy a car, you take money, pay interest on the money, you deduct it. We've never had that for people buying cars. If it's an American car, only if it's an American car. But they are just they stick together, the Democrats. I tell you, I give them great credit for that. We have some that they're not good stickers. We have guys like Tom Massey in Congress, who's terrible. He's just terrible person. I call him Rand Paul Jr. But they don't vote. Rand Paul, rarely votes for stuff. Likes me, says I'm a great president. He said I'm a great president, one of the greatest presidents. But I said, do me a favor, vote for us and don't call me a great. I'd rather have the vote than the statement. But we have people that don't stick together, and those people hopefully will someday be gone. The thing I most respect about the Democrats, even on horrible policy, they stick together. What they do have, though, is horrible policy. Transgender for everyone, open borders, men and women's sports. They have the worst policy that you can imagine. And so whether they stick together or not, they have just this terrible policy. We have great policy. Republicans have great policy. We have common sense policy, but it's great policy. That's our biggest advantage, is our policy is correct. Yeah, please.
President, are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Say it.
Are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Yeah, a little bit, but more NATO. I think our Gulf allies have been pretty good, to be honest with you. UAE's been hit so hard. He got hit by 1,400 rockets, shot them all out of the air with our great Patriot missiles. Think of it. They shot 100 missiles at one of our aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, one of the biggest ships in the world, actually. And out of 101 missiles shot, every single one of them was knocked down in the sea. Think of that. Think of what that means. 101 missiles, highly sophisticated, very fast missiles shot. Out of 101, all 101 were shot down and now, for the most part, lie at the bottom of the sea. It's pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Our military is amazing, Pete. You know the attack I'm talking about recently? 101 shot. I said, wow. I saw that. You can see we have sort of pretty good equipment that we see. It's called the red line. Those red lines were thick, right? I said, that's a lot. And then we saw them one by one just get shot. And these guys that do the shooting, the coolest cucumbers ever. You know, most people, you don't have a lot of time. When a missile's going at 2,500 miles an hour, I don't care how far away it is, you don't have a lot of time. But I watched them sit down and think. Great students, MITs, a lot of MITs, a lot of guys like this. They're not as much into the muscle as they are this one right here. And amazing to watch them perform under great pressure because they have a matter of seconds to do it. If they don't do it properly, it's a big problem, you know, because these were powerful. These were very powerful missiles coming. And so a lot of people choke. They don't choke. These guys don't choke. They're the best in the world. We have the best in the world. Yeah.
Mr. President, what would be your message today to the TSA agents who have been staying home in recent days amid this impact?
Well, some of them are needing money, you know, because the Democrats cut off their money. I blame the Democrats more than anything else. But some of them, you know, they didn't get paid because they're not funded by the Democrats. This is a Democrat problem. In fact, I actually said to the Senate, why would you say this is a Democrat problem? I think the polls are showing it's a Democrat problem. And they'll do anything actually to hurt our country so they can try and win the midterms. And if we ever went back to our old policies, we wouldn't have a country left.
If they get a deal, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, to fund all but enforcement operations of ICE, to get those TSA agents repaid and to open up the rest of the department, would you sign that?
Well, I don't want to comment until I see the deal, but as you know, they're negotiating a deal. I guess they're getting fairly close, but I think any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy with it. These guys came in, they wouldn't pay people. You know, they had a deal to pay. They had to break their deal. The Democrats broke the deal that we had. It was all done. Everything was fine. And then they just said, well, we're not going to pay anymore. And they hurt our country. And at a very difficult time because, you know, we are at, as they would say, a war. They call it a war. I call it a military operation, a very successful one, like successful like nobody's ever seen before. Hey, Venezuela was equally as successful. That was a great thing. No, the Democrats had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they said, well, we're not going to pay. And so a lot of people suffered over that and put our country in danger. You have another question? You haven't been here in a while.
Well, on Iran, can you give us any more sense of who exactly in Iran it is, either Witkoff or others you're speaking with?
Yeah, we had, I hate to say this in front of these young people. They're not children. I spoke to most of them. They sound like adults to me, even though they are sort of children, right? They'll always be your children. But I hate to say it, but we killed all their leadership. And then they met to choose new leaders, and we killed all of them.
Jeez, Trump.
And now we have a new group, and we can easily do that. But let's see how they turn out. We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems. So this was, I think we can say, Jason, this is regime change, right?
What makes you trust them?
I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you. I mean, that's only because I know you. But if I didn't know you, I'd probably have more trust. But I don't trust anyone. Why do you say that? Why do you say what makes you trust? Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them.
Then why bother talking to them?
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people. No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But
Born
what
to
it
be
showed
a
me is that we're
comedian,
dealing with
forced
the
to
right
be a
people.
president.
Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum, racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out. And the present, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer?
Was it related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow of?
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the strait, yeah. It was.
Are you negotiating on who's going to control the strait from now on?
No, we'll have control of anything we want. Look, if we can end this without more lives being down, without knocking out $10 billion electric plants that are brand new and the apple of their eye, I'd like to be able to do that, But they can't have certain things. I mean, you know the things. I don't have to go over the list, but again, it starts with no nuclear weapons, and they've agreed to that. There won't be any nuclear weapons. They're not going to have, and they're not going to have enrichment, any of those things. But look, I hate to say that we're in a very good bargaining position, and I hate to say that they're defenseless because, until that last missile is fired, they have little power. But we are in about the best bargaining position. We're way ahead of schedule. And again, they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no missile protection, and most of their missiles are gone. Most of their launches we've killed. We've killed about 82% of their launches. So even if they had a missile, they can't launch it. We've been very effective. We have the greatest military in the world. Nobody even comes close. We have the best military equipment in the world. Go ahead.
On Saudi Arabia, there's been some reporting that you've been talking to the Crown Prince. Have you been focused on normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel?
Well, no, we have a great relationship with Saudi Arabia. What do you hear with Saudi Arabia?
Just hearing that you've been talking and that he has been encouraging you to do certain things.
Bro, like right here, like your parents pay all your fucking bills. You don't have a fucking car and you're complaining about shit that doesn't even have any direct effect on you. All right? Like this electricity is up, gas is up to $5. Your parents pay all of your fucking bills. None of this shit even affects you. Don't act like you have any concept of the real world. None.
Related to Iran. Can you share?
Well, he's a warrior. He does. Yeah, he's a warrior. He's fighting with us, by the way. Saudi Arabia has been excellent, and UAE, excellent. And I will tell you, Qatar, incredible. Qatar took a hit, a pretty bad hit. Qatar is very close. They're essentially, you can walk right over the border. Qatar took a hit. They've been great. They've been very strong. Kuwait, they had a little mishap. They shot down 3 planes with our missiles. They happen to be our planes, but the pilots made it. Can you imagine the pilots making it? The pilots saw what was coming. And they said, those are Patriots. We're not going to escape Patriots. And they got out of there pretty quick, Pete, right? Pretty amazing that they got out. The 3 pilots lived. They're fine. In fact, they're flying today.
Was the Kuwaitis that accidentally fired the missile?
Yeah, the Kuwaitis made a mistake. They fired. They thought they were firing at the enemy. It was, as the expression goes, friendly fire. But the pilots are great. They're flying today. Pretty amazing when you think of it. Yeah.
President Trump, on a human level, how hopeful are you that this peace deal will work out? Like as a human,
On what?
on a human level, not as the president of the United States. How hopeful are you that this peace deal will work out with Iran?
You're talking about to end it? Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like We're not winning a war where they have no navy and they have no.
On a human level. Her question was like, on a human level, like, shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a shit about your virtue signaling, okay? On a human level. Bitch, he's been ending wars like crazy, and all of you fuckers done has lied about him. And now you want to bring like, on a human level, what does it mean to you on a human level? Shut the fuck up. Nandy for 50 says the libs complain gas prices gas prices now, yet won't acknowledge it was a 4-year lows prior to the Iran war. Reached national average of 275 at one point. Yep, never wanted to talk about it. And now suddenly that's all they want to talk about on a human level. On a human level.
Air Force, and they have nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tehran and other parts of their country. They can't do a thing about it. For instance, if I want to take down that power plant, that very big, powerful power plant, they can't do a thing about it. It's like, take me. That's all they can do. And yet, if you read the New York Times or if you watch ABC fake news or NBC fake news, you'd say it's a close battle. It's not a close battle. They're totally defeated. You know, we killed their Navy in, would you say 3 days, Pete? Gone. In fact, I was a little upset with Pete. I said, why didn't you save the ships? We could have used them, right? He said, it's more fun shooting them down. But the Navy was wiped out in a very rapid order. Pretty impressive for you guys, you champion wrestlers, right? When you hear this stuff. But you don't, if you read the news, you don't hear this. You know, you read like, oh, they're doing wonderfully. They're doing terribly. They're wiped out militarily. They are dead. Yeah.
Is there a new sense of a timeline? Do you want to get something done before the midterms?
Well, we'd like to see President Putin and President Zelensky sit down and make a deal. I think they're getting close, but I've been saying that for a while. I've settled 8 wars. All of them should have been more difficult than this one. This should have been the easiest one. But these are two people that truly hate each other. You'll find out that hatred is not good for making deals. These are people that they don't like each other very much. Yeah.
I know you said there's a bunch of people from the administration who are negotiating with Iran. There's been reports that the vice president is leading those negotiations. Is that true?
Well, he's involved in them. JD is involved, and Marco's involved, and Jared Kushner's involved, very smart guy, and Steve Witkoff, smart guy, is involved. And I'm involved. I'm involved. Why? I'm going to be so big. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I'm the president of the United States, Tom, and I'm not going to talk about it. It's beneath me to talk about saving millions of lives, because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about saving millions of lives. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. And if I didn't end the horrible Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal in my first administration, they would have had a nuclear weapon 3 or 4 years ago. They would have used it. I would have never gotten the chance probably to be president. Who knows what it would have been so devastating. And if we didn't send those beautiful B-2 bombers, they took them off my desk. They were right there. I don't know why. But if we didn't have those beautiful, the B-2 hit, which was so we obliterated, despite CNN. CNN said, well, maybe the word obliteration said, no, we obliterated it, just obliterated their nuclear potential. You would have had them having 2 weeks after that attack, had we not made the attack, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have absolutely used it. And they would have used it on the entire Middle East, including Israel. And you know why you see that? Because unexpectedly, when this war broke out, unexpectedly, they started sending missiles to UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and elsewhere. And nobody thought they were going to. Were you equally surprised by that, Pete?
Way more than we thought.
Pete, do you want to give about a 3-minute statement on how we're doing in this, as I call it, military operation? People don't like me using the word war, but so I won't. But the Democrats go to war. How about a little statement? I think he's done a very good job. Do we agree he's done a good job, Mark? What? Can we take some of your time?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You're spot on. never in history has a modern military. Iran had a modern military, a modern navy, a modern air force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated from day one with overwhelming firepower. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands
Except is so on
to actually
point.
go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This is not Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not a president who's interested in vague end states. He's been very clear with us about what we need to accomplish, creating the conditions for them never to have a nuclear capability. And that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, the only two people that were quite disappointed, I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete and General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's these guys are doing a great job. That's a good attitude, though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you, just taking things locally, hopefully not doing international affairs for a second, do you support the construction of the Second Avenue subway in New York City and will your administration?
Wow, that's really far out. You know, the Second Avenue subway has been under construction for, you're a young guy, is longer than you are old, okay? That's been under construction. I haven't heard about the Second Avenue subway in 20 years. What the hell kind of a question is that? I guess they got to get it finished. They spent trillions of dollars practically. No, they spent more money on that than on anything, I think, in the history of our city, in New York City. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's very sad, actually. The only thing maybe worse was Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, his train, I call it his train wreck because it's a wreck. That's been years. It's literally 30 times over budget. Nobody's ever said anything like it. And it doesn't go to San Francisco and Los Angeles like it was supposed to. They decided to cut it way short because there was no way they could finish it. But it's one of the worst. I've never seen anything like it other than the worst, the Federal Reserve building for almost $4 billion, little building that's going to cost a renovation for $4 billion, headed by our highly incompetent head of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, would you be open, are you hoping to see the Senate pursue Reconciliation 2.0 to fund ICE and pass the State of America?
Well, we'll see about reconciliation. We're certainly talking about reconciliation, I think, Mark Wayne, right? Do you want to talk about that for a second? Now that he's working, we can get him to do this.
Thank you. Lindsey Graham, the chairman where the reconciliation will funnel through, he is committed to making sure we get reconciliation through. If that is in some form with funding ICE, possibly importantly, the Save American Act. There's a framework that we can do through reconciliation, paying for it, put some of the policies that cost money in, because there's nothing more important than the Save American Act. I mean, that's what the American people want. There's 80% of the population say they want only Americans voting, citizens that are registered to vote, citizens that have done it the right way. And I believe that everybody wants an election integrity. So fortunately, Lindsey Graham has said through reconciliation, he's willing to put the framework out for that.
And I think that was said so beautifully, so concisely, so well, your father, that we should let him have the last word, and that was it. That was the last word. Did he do a good job? Are you impressed with your father?
Never been more impressed with anybody in my life.
How about me? Don't answer. Don't answer. Don't answer. No, you like your father better. Okay. This guy Don't wrestle him. We'll steal over here.
You too. Thank you.
All right. I want to thank the family because without the family, he's not here. You know, he's a different person. And that goes especially for Mom, who looks like she's about 22 years old. I don't know. I see these kids, but she looks very young. But it's a great couple. Congratulations to you both. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, there we go. Trump working the room as only Trump can do. So there you have it right there. Good stuff. Trump is always the comedian, always on point. Let's see. Grapdar's Hammer says, glad I drove to MegaCon. F that noise. Joe Bitt says, can you talk about the live action Moana? We're going to probably talk about that on Main Event. I still haven't watched the trailer. I only saw the pictures, and my goodness, it looks terrible. Gremlin says, keep in mind, to guys, everyone in that line has a special ID to get on that plane, but voter ID is racist. Such a great point. Such a great point indeed. Truly Potato says, the Tucker in Preston guy has released another video about Joe Kent appearance. You should watch it. It's hilarious. I've got that pulled up. Again, Nandy, big support today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. On a human level, Jeremy is a dumb Alabamian. I can't deny that. Oops, Jay did it again. Says, bring on Jay. Super Sentai guy says, any truth to Trump's approval cratering today? I mean, I haven't seen any reports about it. I mean, they've been saying that for a while, so I don't put a lot of stock into that at all. But here's the video you were talking about right here. So here we go.
I remember one of the last things that Charlie Kirk said to me. You know, we were at the White House and we had crossed paths in the West Wing.
Wow.
And he looked right at me and he said,
wow, that's so on point. Tucker, like, wow.
I remember one of the last things that Charlie Kirk said to me. You know, we were at the White House and we had crossed paths in the West Wing.
Wow.
And he looked right at me and he said, Joe, I'm a time traveler. I'm from the future. I can astral project.
He said that?
And I show up in people's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm from the future.
I believe it. Totally believe that. And what year did he say he was coming from?
2045.
Really?
He's going back to 1985 and then 1955, I believe.
And so he traveled back from the future to 1985 and then again to 1955. Is that what you're saying? Is that what he did? That's what he did.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it because it's true.
And then as he passed me in the hallway, he was walking away and he turned around and he started humming.
He was humming?
Yeah, he was humming a tune.
What did he hum exactly?
Exactly.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. I really do. I really do. I love that. I really do. Like a lot.
And I looked at him and I said, Charlie, where is this all going? And he said, where we're going, we won't need roads.
Well,
now, clearly he was getting at, you know,
bombing Iranian infrastructure.
I think so.
Yeah. Did you tell anyone this information?
Clearly he was talking about bombing Iranian infrastructure.
Like a lot.
And I looked at him and I said, Charlie, where is this all going? And he said, where we're going, we won't need roads.
Wow.
I mean, clearly he was getting at, you know,
bombing Iranian infrastructure.
I think so.
Yeah. Did you tell anyone this information?
One person.
Okay.
Just one person.
Brett Weinstein, any comment?
We need to take a serious look at this and consider its implications. I would strongly suggest that somebody get in touch with Christopher Lloyd.
I totally agree.
At least before the Libyans do. Yeah. We are serious political thinkers.
Yeah.
I remember.
Like, if you don't see the insanity going on right now, then I can't help you. I can't help you. We're dealing with people that are saying such ridiculous shit. And I mean, it's just not, we're not even in the ballpark of reality anymore. When this Joe Kent guy said, the last thing Charlie Kirk said to him was keep us at a war with Iran. What? Holy shit, man. That's the craziest shit I've ever heard. I couldn't believe that he actually went there. But the fact is, he can go there because there's so many retarded people that believe it. They believe it. At least Alex Jones had receipts. 1,000%. Here, crazy how gullible some people are. So here's Joe Rogan reacting to AI videos of Joe Rogan reacting to AI videos of Netflix Yahoo. Okay, here we go.
What'd you think of these AI videos of Joe Rogan reacting to videos in Israel of Bibi Netanyahu that he's claiming are AI?
Didn't see it.
You didn't see that?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's nuts. Apparently, the Joe Rogan podcast has been releasing videos that are just 100% AI.
Whoa.
It's weird.
That's pretty crazy.
You didn't see any of it?
No.
Here, Jamie, pull it up. Look at this. Check this out. Yeah, this is from a recent episode. Wow. They're saying it might be AI.
Okay. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so apparently he's just like in his studio, but look at that. Look at the way the light shining off his head like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how light reflects off someone's head. That's just like, it's not natural.
No.
He doesn't even look like a human being. He looks like some weird mammalian species or something. I don't care how shiny your scalp is. Light does not reflect like that, especially if you're not out in, unless it's like natural moonlight, like real, like 100% natural moonlight. That could.
Bro, this is so fucking funny. Holy shit, man. I mean, listen, I'm not above a lot of this. I've been duped. I was fooled. Tucker Carlson fooled me. All right. Rogan, I was never a Rogan guy. I wasn't. I was never a Rogan guy. But he's the number one guy, man. Nothing but respect for being the number one guy. Okay. But like, it's unbelievable because these people are completely nuts. And Joe Rogan just rambles off crazy shit all the time.
Do it sometimes if you're out in the wilderness and if there's no like white light from surrounding buildings or something, you might get that kind of reflection. But this is just, it's fake. It's weird.
Yeah, well, white light matters.
This is AI. That's fake.
It's crazy.
Well, people have zoomed in on the.
So there he is, just like,
yeah, what is this?
Supposedly he's listening and watching clips of Netanyahu at a cafe or something. And he's claiming those clips are AI, but look how weird it looks. Look how he's looking off, but like where's it coming from?
Yeah.
Right. And look at the light behind him, that neon. It's just like warping on the side there. And
yeah, like this is what Rogan does though. Rogan is good at talking about shit that he knows nothing about, but making it sound like he knows what he's talking about. He's very good at this. He's extremely good at this.
And look at his hand. How he's pointing. Like that doesn't even look human.
Right.
How many fingers was that? Didn't it look like he had like 7 fingers? That might have just been camera angles. I don't know. Jamie? I mean, people are analyzing the footage now and running it through Grok and stuff to see if it's AI. Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's pretty crazy.
It's weird.
Totally.
They're trying to pass it off as like Joe just like reacting to clips, but I don't know, man. It's just something is off.
Jay says I'm kind of good at that.
Off here, man. And this has been verified. They've been checking this. It's like 100% AI.
Really?
I don't know why he's doing this.
Huh.
Then they put out a statement saying Israel wanted to attack Austin.
What?
Yes.
That's verified?
Yes, 100%.
What do they got against Austin?
Something about Greater Israel expanding into Texas. I was like, oh, it's crazy, man.
Jesus.
It's crazy.
You sure?
Yes, 100%.
Whoa.
That's verified.
BB wants Texas.
100%.
Jesus.
So anyway, Rogan just put these clips out. I mean, it's 100% AI.
That is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, that is wild.
It's crazy what people will believe.
Yeah, some people.
I'll never forget PewDiePie actually called Joe Rogan stupid a long time ago. I just pulled this clip up. Have you ever heard this? Right here?
Going back on Joey Joe, I don't know if you ever listened to him. Have you listened to Joe Rogan?
A lot at the beginning. Yes, I don't listen to any podcasts at all. I have no horse in this race.
Because I had this epiphany. I'm like, oh, he's like the biggest podcast. I never actually listened to him. So I listened to an episode and I'm like, oh, he's actually, respectfully, very dumb. So there's this compilation of him he's a comedian, but there's a compilation of him not understanding jokes. And it's really funny.
Joe, you were great on Friends. I wasn't on Friends. It's a joke.
King PewDiePie, the king. I remember when Joe Rogan called him PewDiePie. The first, I heard Joe Rogan called PewDiePie PewDiePie when Sargon was on there. I can find this one. Is it this one right here?
And the great thing about the way the internet works is that, I mean, look at the people who are at the top. Look at like someone like PewDiePie.
Mm-hmm.
Man of outstanding moral character.
PewDiePie.
Is he? Do
Oh,
you know
yeah.
him? Do you hang with him?
I've spoken to him a few times, but I don't need to hang with him to know. Look at what he does. He doesn't go around bullying people.
I do love what Sargon says about PewDiePie right here, because this is why YouTube hated PewDiePie. Do you know what PewDiePie was when he was the top guy on YouTube? This is a guy who was with the same girl that he was with right before he got famous. He wasn't out there running around partying and doing all this crazy shit. Like, he had a connection to his audience. Like, he was what the top guy on YouTube should be. He's just a regular dude who's just trying to make genuine content. He's not trying to manipulate the system. He's just making content that people like.
Doesn't go around lying about people.
Right.
He goes around doing charity and being like, hey, bros, and being nice to people and being inspirational.
What happened with him? You would
He
know
got
that.
framed.
Okay, but let's go over the actual. This is, by the way, this has affected me, and it affected a lot of YouTube people where their YouTube videos used to have much freer monetization, meaning that for people listening, say if Sargon puts out a YouTube video.
This is about the adpocalypse. I don't remember exactly where Joe Rogan says PewDiePie's name, but he calls him PewDiePie. And Joe Rogan's such a boomer in this because Sargon's talking about PewDiePie at the time. I believe PewDiePie had about 50 or 60 million subscribers. Okay. Joe Rogan at that time thought that 50 million subscribers meant that PewDiePie was getting 50 million downloads per upload, which he was calling episodes. So he's like, he's getting 50 million downloads every episode? And you see Sargon like, hey, he's got 50 million subscribers. Like 50 million downloads per episode? That's crazy, man. The guy's making a lot of money. And I'm like, no, that's not what the fuck is happening, Joe. But either way, Joe Rogan, it's never been a Rogan guy, but pretty clear, especially recently, the stuff he's saying and the stuff that he's running his mouth about, he doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about. And again, this is a guy who had to wait until the last possible moment to endorse Trump over Kamala. The last possible moment when it was obvious Trump was going to win. When everyone else had already endorsed Trump, Joe Rogan's like, hey, I'm gonna endorse Trump. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, buddy. Once it's obvious. Kind of reminds me of you could probably I don't know if you can pull that. I'll try to find this video, but it was a funny clip of Rogan. But either way, look, dude's the #1 guy online. Congratulations to him. Skywalker DFS says, Jeremy, I have a vintage Blockbuster Video shirt for you. Also, what happened to Owen Schroyer? He is one step away from full liberal. It's pretty crazy how far he's fallen, but it pays good what he's doing. Mark Millen says Rogan is just a new age version of the warlord of a tribe, having smart people come to his show and explain things to him. He is just you, brainy man, explains this complicated thing to Rogan. That does happen a lot. Random Logo says, Jeremy, can you please ask Mossad who is gay? Piano Dean says, what the hell does transgender for everyone mean? That's an absolutely hilarious face. Trump always says that when he's talking about transgender. He goes, transgender for everyone. And you're like, what does that even mean, Trump? Transgender for everyone. More than that, Jeremy, Rogan waited until Kamala said she wouldn't do his show. Very good point. Very good point. Jim P says, that wimp crying about costs from parents' basement, likely in a blue state with high taxes. 100% that's where he's from. 100%. Big Balls over on Rumble says, anyone that thinks Trump is controlled obviously doesn't know him and needs to come back to the real world. Action speaks for themselves. Correct. Miniature Realm Thing says, I've been watching people on YouTube with ties inside the Immortal Guard, anti-regime militia inside Iran. They are laughing at how liberals are covering the war. Iran's leadership is a shit show right now. I believe it. Steve Estrella says, I know that you don't like him, but you should check out the first 10 minutes of Dan Bongino's podcast from yesterday. He does a great job explaining what these tools are doing. I might check that out. I am not a fan of Dan Bongino, though. Ministry of One Thing says, Kent, we know Iran doesn't have nukes because their leadership has religious laws against it. Iran's new holy leader is gay. Exactly. Mod Eric says, what do you think of Game of Thrones theme park? It would have to be in Alabama for all the family having sex thing. Other than that, it might be cool. I'll take Lord of the Rings over it. Mitchell Fields says, damn, that woman in the pink tax. Dennis says, gas is up to $5 here in Arizona. I've been watching it go up to 20 cents a week for the last month on my way to work every morning. It's a valid complaint. It's a valid complaint in isolation, but all that guy did is whining. So no, it's not a valid complaint when all you do is cry about Trump. It's a valid complaint if you want to bring it up in isolation, but if all you're doing is crying about Trump, I don't care how offended you are over everything else that's going on. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Your feelings mean nothing. Your words mean nothing. So it absolutely means nothing to me from that perspective. All right, we're gonna call it there, ladies and gentlemen. We got Tuesday night's main event, and then I'm either gonna do a CobraCast after main event or a gaming stream. I'm not sure yet, and it also depends how late main event runs, because main event's gonna run long. So we'll see how that works out. This is going to be a MegaCon recap, by the way. Lady R&D says mod lives matter. But Tuesday night's main event will be rocking and rolling tonight, 6 p.m. on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. So it's going to be a fun one, and I do appreciate it. Who's the guest? Alec Baldwin's finger, because he had a legendary moment at MegaCon that we have to discuss with him. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you for Tuesday night's main event. Talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.